All right, welcome to part 3 of section 5, which is where we're going to discuss the use of widgets. Now, I'm not going to go through every single widget because there's a lot of them, but I'm just going to go through like the main ones that you would be using. So to give you an example of how you would use this, so let's create something that's a little bit more. So we're going to delete this particular widget by clicking on the little edit icon and clicking delete and clicking delete. We'll keep this text here and we'll get rid of this section. So something that we could use would be, you'll be using images a lot. So we'll create an image up here. And we will click on choose image and we'll go to the media file. Let's say we use this one. So, okay, so now we've got an image. And so now what we could do is we've got an image here on the left. Now you can actually drag and drop this. So you'll see that it allows you to do that. You can move this around, but we're going to have it here for now. And then what we're going to do is we've already got our little, we'll do it from the beginning. So we're going to have a heading here. And so that's the heading widget, which is here. And we have our text widget, which we're going to could put it in the middle, but we're actually going to put it down here. And then so what we're going to call, we'll have that there. Oops, let's move that back. All right. So we'll call it coffee with your friend. And we're going to create some text. Now, when you're using these text editors with the heading on, you can either edit it here, or you can actually click on and edit it here. So we're going to do with the text editor, we're going to actually, I prefer to edit it in here. The only annoying thing is that sometimes you won't be able to, you'll have to use the keyboard to move it around instead of the mouse, which you can do that. And we're going to get rid of this text here. And we're going to click on coffee with your friend. It can be a very enjoyable experience. Come check out coffee store. Oh wait, our coffee store today. So this is an example of how you use these widgets, right? So I'm just going to go through the ones that we use. The heading is for creating a heading like this one. The text image, the text editor is where you will create general text. You've got the image, which you'll be using a lot as well to create, like, because when you're building a website, you will be using images a lot. You can just have plain text, but it looks very plain. So images spice things up and create a bit of, like they're eye-catching. So those are the main options that you'll be using. So you can add a video here. You can add a spacer. So to give you an example of a spacer, let's just say I wanted to have more space from the top. Well, I can use the spacer widget and I can adjust it accordingly to add more space or reduce space. I'm going to get rid of that for now. That's how it works. So if you need to delete a widget, you can just click on it and then click on this, the little pen icon, and just click the delete key, and that'll get rid of it. So what other widgets have we got? Video you'll be using if you have video, spacer. Icons can be interesting. So we can add an icon here. Underneath or above. So icons can be very interesting. You can also adjust the icon by clicking on icon library, and you've got a whole bunch of different icons here that you can use. So if we type in check, we can click on this and click insert, and it'll add a check. So we are going to be using this later on, but this is an example of the widgets. So you've got the spacer, you've got the text editor, you've got the image, you've got the heading. You can add a gallery, you can add an image carousel. There's a lot of, you can add SoundCloud. There's a lot of add-ons. There's a lot of what you call widgets here that you can use. We won't be using all of them. You can also add a mega menu, but we will be going on to that later. But that's essentially the basics of using widgets. So you can actually search for a widget up the top here by typing in. So we can type in carousel, and you'll see it brings up all the carousels. So just be aware, there are a lot of widgets, but for the most part, you'll be using the basic ones because they will be making up the majority of your pages. One that is very cool is an icon list. I like to use that quite a bit, and we will actually be using an icon list here when we're building our website. One of the pages has an icon list on it. You can adjust, so you can click on the list item and you can adjust, you can change the icon, which is really, really cool. Yep. So that's basically the discussion of widgets. Now we're going to go on and talk about the settings within Elementor itself, which affect the way the page displays. So we're going to move on to that section now.